our highways and bridges are not so young, and many of them, as salient disasters have shown, unfortunately, recently, we've got a lot of investment we need to do. The bottom bullet point: we may have a maintenance need of roughly $145 billion. Just a huge amount of maintenance and repair and investment needs to happen. This graph shows you that our interstate was built long ago. And so the way to read this thing is by the year 1972, 80% of our highway system was already built. We built this long ago, and while it served us well, it's depreciating. The same for bridges. I see my beautiful California with green here. We've got some bridges. The bridge to Madison County. Many of these bridges need some investment, and we want to preempt and solve our issues before, versus to have to suffer disasters and try to clean it up ex post. And so David Levinson and I, in our proposal, advanced 3 proposals to make progress on how to improve our infrastructure system. And some of these are a little bit radical, and we're eager to receive your feedback. Our first proposal is to take the revenue from the federal gasoline tax and to direct it away from new highway construction, and instead to take this revenue and to dedicate it to preserving and reconstructing our existing highways. As the previous slide showed, we've built these highways long ago, and there can be significant economic benefits that we argue in the paper could occur if we redirect this revenue away from new construction towards existing highways where our cities have been built around this infrastructure. Expanded second. We know we're radicals. And we know, even I like a new highway. And so our critics could say, are you academics saying no more highways? No. We want state and localities to have more skin in the game. And so when state and localities identify highways that are good projects, we want to create a federal highway bank where the rules of the game would change. Rather than having steep federal subsidies for projects for building new highways, we imagine and talk at length in our paper about a new set of financing rules. States and localities would approach this new federal highway bank, and they would take out a loan from this bank, and which would have to be repaid. This is old school. And this would create excellent incentives. Because the states would anticipate they have to pay back the loan, they'd have to think about revenue sources, including user fees and road pricing. And this, economists like me love this, of how to marshal incentives to get us to address congestion issues and to achieve efficiency gains. And so there's a win-win here that we talk about at length. And it's all about changing the rules of the game and incentives. Now, our final policy, rewarded third, performance standards. So while I fear teacher evaluations the last day of class, I understand why we have them. You should see my bimodal ratings. In rewarded third, we formally discuss the introduction of performance standards. And so if a state or locality borrows money from our federal highway bank, and if they achieve certain credible performance standards on several criteria ranging from safety to pollution to speed to equity, we want to reward those states up to the job. And they would be able to borrow at a lower interest rate. So there's pay for performance, there's interest rates for performance under our proposal. And so projects that perform well on these criteria will receive an interest rate reduction. And it is over. And so to summarize, we're radically changing the rules of the game with, we think, a better incentive structure to achieve the goals that we talked about this morning. But we are hard-headed economists for bringing this about.